remember, like Bob Clark and Doug Campbell, they actually devoted a show. What was it called? The Lives of Fletcher
Yeah, the
Project?
Lives of Fletcher Project. What a
Right.
joke.
Yeah.
What an embarrassment. I mean, those.
Everything is going to hell down here in Texas.
Oh, hell yeah. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Triple B, the biggest, the baddest of Bobs. Rob Clark here with you with the Lone Gunman Podcast, episode number 256er, folks. Before we get into the show, I want to hit a couple things right off the jump street here. Everything has been resolved with YouTube. I want to say, I've heard these horror stories that people have about YouTube and, their Hitler-esque style of, ruling everything. But I will say this, the issue I had with them was resolved in 2 days, favorably for me. So, and them. So that's good news. Everything is as it was and as it will be on YouTube. No issues there. That's why you'll see episodes going up over there still. So everything is all good, folks. Everything has been resolved. I mean, it's understandable. They have these, automatic programs and bots and everything that scan all their content for various things. And, something hit on there for me. I appealed to a human being at YouTube, and they responded very quickly. Like I said, within 2 days, my appeal worked out, and all is right with the world again in the land of YouTube. So, and also, I want to let you know, since that is all good now, plans to move forward with the show are still in full effect. So if you have not already, head to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to get notified when new episodes drop. Okay? This show will be going live after the 60th anniversary. Okay? On YouTube. Now, nothing is going to be affected here on the audio stream. You will still get your show released, and you will still be able to hear me in podcast form in your ears without having to look at me. I understand if you don't want to. But if you do, the show will be in video form. It's going to be live, and it's going to be on YouTube. And you don't have to watch live if you can't. It's no big deal. It'll just record itself, and then you can watch it at your leisure. But I thought it would be a cool way to interact with everybody in real time and be able to show you guys documents, things like Clem Bertrand's library card. So little things like that. I think it's going to be a new and exciting time for the Lone Gunman Podcast to move forward because, as I've said before, I'll be presenting at Lancer this year. We're doing a show about the Martins, me and Joe Borelli, and we only have an hour to present, but we have probably 30 hours of material. So we're going to be going in a lot more in depth about our Lancer presentation on this show after Lancer happens, because Lancer will be getting the exclusive information. So if you haven't already, head over to jfklancerpublications.com, secure your registration, book your flight to Dallas. If you can't, do that. Go to assassinationconference.com and you can watch virtually. I do believe that is the correct link. All right, got a very cool show for you today. I came across a document that tries to collate all known information streams according to a timeline for Lee Harvey Oswald between 6:30 a.m. November 22nd, 1963 and 12:30 p.m. November 22nd, 1963. And it's very interesting because you can see where these streams get crossed at times. You can understand why things get confused or convoluted at times. And I'm not sure who did this. To me, it seems like an HSCA document, but I could be wrong. Stamped on it says CIA has no objection to declassification and or release of this document. So this may be a CIA document, an internal CIA document. I don't know. But I think being able to look at this and go through it will help illuminate Oswald's movements from 6:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. that day until the fatal time when JFK gets shot in Dealey Plaza. But before we do, my buddy Bob has some words for you from Silk City Hot Sauce, baby. Big Bad Bob here with you for Silk City Hot Sauces. Why Silk City? Because this hot sauce comes to you directly from Paterson, New Jersey, also known as Silk City. These hot sauces are 100% natural, gluten-free, vegan, contain no chemicals, fillers, dyes, or junk. Everything is packed into recyclable glass containers because glass doesn't leach weird flavors into the product. All other hot sauces are sourced in small batches from locally bought fresh peppers. It's all about the pepper, people. I'm telling you. Your boy, Big Bad Bob, loves his food like he loves his women. Hot and spicy, but not so hot you can't eat them. So, if you love yourself some sauce and you're tired of trying to transform your bland meat into something edible, with the tip of a jar, you will transform your life forever. Head over to silkcityhotsauce.com, place an order, and upon checkout, enter the code GUNMAN, that's GUNMAN, for 20% off of your entire order. You won't regret it. Thank me later. Peace. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. We love Silk City hot sauce around here. We put it on everything, just about. I love it on my eggs in the morning. I love it to add it in my chili. I'll put that shit on my tacos. Yep. And when I cook my meat, whether I be frying it, grilling it, or baking it, I'll drizzle a little bit of Silk City hot sauce all over it just to infuse a little flavor into it. You don't know it's there if you can't taste it, folks. Nobody likes bland meat. So take it from your boy, Big Bad Bob. Go get you some. It's delicious. And you also help to support this very show that you love so much. All right, enough of that. Let's get right into the document. All right. So as I explained to you before, this takes us on a timeline of the morning of November 22nd, 1963 in Lee Harvey Oswald's life. Now, the first hour, we're going to be jumping all over the place because apparently there's information streams coming into this timeline from all over the place. So let's get right into it. So this is 7 a.m. and we will be jumping around and coming back and jumping around and coming back because you'll understand why in a minute. But okay, so we're starting about 7 a.m. Oswald leaves his wedding ring at Mrs. Payne's residence, where Marina finds it after the police come in the afternoon. And I guess this is according to certain commission documents that they put in here. 23 colon 477. Marina says that this is the first time that he has ever left it. 1, page 72, 73. Volume 2, 18, 315. Volume 22, 764, 23, 399. Contradictory statement, volume 24, 230. So does Oswald give his USMC emblem ring to Detective Sims? That's just amusing. That definitely didn't happen at 7 a.m. on November the 22nd. Now, when it comes to Oswald leaving his wedding ring here, apparently, this statement was made and filed in different places, but there apparently was a contradictory statement somewhere. And then we have Oswald leaves Mrs. Payne's residence at 7 a.m., which is earlier than usual. And this came from Time magazine, February 14th, 1964, page 19. Recall that Oswald is seen at Hutch's Grocery, 8/10 of a mile from Mrs. Payne's on several mornings at 7 a.m. And then we have 10, 329, 26, 178. Marina says that Oswald has a small package. Not talking about his junk, folks. Get your minds out of the gutter. Marina says that Oswald has a small package with his lunch sack when he leaves Mrs. Michael Payne's residence. At Clayshaw's trial, Marina says that she does not see Oswald leave, according to the New Orleans Times-Picayune on February 22nd, 1969. So there is a contradictory statement. First of many. Just a heads up. On November 30th, Marina says that she does not know of anything that Oswald takes with him. She does not recognize the bag found on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, and neither does anybody else, because it's giant, it's huge. Oswald could have put Buell Frazier in the bag and carried him into the Texas School Book Depository with this bag. It's so freaking big. Okay. On 11/23/63, Oswald denies that he takes a package to work on November the 22nd. Okay, we jump to 7:10 a.m. Mrs. Randall, that's Lenny Mae, that's Buell Frazier's sister, folks. Mrs. Randall sees LHO with a 2-foot or over package wrapped in brown paper with some weight to it. She watches him put it in Frazier's car. LHO comes to the window and creepily waves at the Randalls and Frazier as they're trying to sit at the breakfast table and eat breakfast. Frazier leaves with Oswald shortly after, according to Secret Service interview of 11/28 with Mrs. Randall, and Commission Document 87 and Secret Service Report 175-2. All right, also 7:10 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Mrs. Randall, Wesley Frazier's sister, with whom Frazier lives, sees Oswald approach the Randall residence in a light brown or tan shirt. Okay, according to this document. Oswald is carrying a long package. On 12/1, Mrs. Randall says that it's only about 27 inches long. On 11/22, Mrs. Randall says it's approximately 3 feet by 6 inches. That's 36 inches by 6 inches, according to Commission Document 5/320, and no jacket, wearing no jacket. 7:20 a.m., Wes Frazier, that's Buell, sees Oswald look creepily in the Randall's kitchen window. 7:20 a.m. also, Marina sees no signs of Oswald having had breakfast in Mrs. Payne's kitchen. Oswald puts the package on the back seat of Frazier's car, and Frazier indicates that the package is about 2 feet long, according to all these documents. On December the 1st, Frazier indicates the package is about 27 inches long, which is about 3 inches longer than 2 feet. Oswald calls this package curtain rods, according to these documents. Frazier says sack is like one coming from a 5 and dime store, according to FBI report and Commission Document 15 and Commission Document 5, page 317. Frazier and Mrs. Randall testify that the package is about 28 inches long. This is from the Washington Post, 12/163, Section E, page 4. Michael Payne estimates length of blanket bundle in garage is 37 inches, according to these documents. Thinks rifle is in one piece. Pictures of the bag and rifle with a tape measure are in 22/480. FBI lab. Frazier testifies rifle is 40.2 inches overall and breaks down into 34.8 inch and 28.9 inch components. So, of this 40.2 inch rifle, it cannot be broken down below 34.8 inches. Therefore, any bag smaller than that could definitely not have contained the Mannlicher Carcano rifle accused of shooting the bullet or bullets that killed President Kennedy and wounded John Connally. 7:25 a.m. Frazier and Oswald leave the Randall residence in Frazier's sweet 1954 black four-door Chevy sedan. 1963 Texas license plate VK3926, according to these documents. Now, when I say these documents, that just means there's a long list of numbers that really mean nothing to us here. So when I say according to these documents, it basically is commission document 24:223-193, page 408, blah, blah, just a bunch of crap. So when I say according to these documents, that's what I mean. Oswald does not bring his lunch and tells Frazier that he is going to buy his lunch today, according to this document. On 11/23, that's the day after the assassination, Oswald said his lunch was the only package that he brought to work on November the 22nd. November 22nd, 1963 was a Friday. Yeah, we know that. Oswald spends the night of November 21st into the 22nd at Mrs. Michael Payne's residence in Irving, according to these documents. On 11/22, Marina says that Oswald leaves before she or Mrs. Payne are awake yet. On 11/22, Mrs. Michael Payne says that she is asleep when Oswald leaves. On 11/22, Marina says that Oswald is gone when she gets up. On 11/28, Marina says the alarm goes off at 6:40. Lee Harvey Oswald gets up at 7 a.m. Marina does not get up, but she talked to Lee, but she talked to Lee Harvey Oswald and said goodbye, etc., etc., according to commission document. On 11:30, that's November 30th, folks. Marina says that the alarm goes off at 6:40. It wakes her up, but not Oswald, and that she nurses the baby and awakens Oswald at 7 a.m. and tells him to get the fuck up. On 9/11/64, that's a whole year later, Marina says she does not get up when Lee Harvey Oswald does, nor does she fix his breakfast. You're on your own, buddy. I'm nursing the baby over here. Get your ass up. You're going to be late for work. Make your own breakfast and get the hell on. Oh, yeah, well, here's my ring, lady. I'm going to leave it right here, and I'm going to leave this money for you. Mrs. Michael Payne says that Marina is nursing the baby when Oswald gets up at 6:30 a.m., according to Red Book in July of 1964. At Clayshaw's trial, Marina testifies that I was awake, but I did not get up because he told me to stay in bed, according to the New Orleans States item, February 21st, 1969. Now you can see from all those statements right there, folks, coming from the same sources, you have multiple answers just about how they woke up that morning. Okay? It's madly frustrating when you're trying to figure out the true events of the day when you have just from these 2 or 3 witnesses, including Ruth, Marina, and Lee. Exactly who got up, who was up, what they ate, did they talk? I mean, it's all over the place. But we're not done yet. So let's get right to it. Marina to the FBI on September the 5th, 1964, according to Commission Document 1546. A. Lee Harvey Oswald prepares no document similar to one at the time of General Walker's shooting. Now, you'll remember, folks, if you go back in time, all of a sudden, after the assassination, Ruth Payne finds this letter to Marina, supposedly written in Russian, from earlier in 1963 when Oswald allegedly was going to go shoot General Walker. He left Marina a letter and basically walked her through everything that she needed to do if something happened to him. So he did that then, but he did not do that for this assassination attempt of the president. Okay. Lee Harvey Oswald's unusual actions, and then, but only in retrospect, in parentheses, leaving a wedding ring, telling Marina to buy needed articles for herself and the children, and visiting on a Thursday night instead of Friday. C. Lee Harvey Oswald never intended to kill President Eisenhower. I don't know where that came from, but okay. D. Warren Commission asked FBI to ensure that no property of the Oswald. Yeah, I'm reading that right, folks. Asked FBI to ensure that no property of the Oswald as of 11/22/63, the existence of which is unknown to the Warren Commission, still remains in the possession of Marina, Robert, Michael, or Ruth Payne, or any other person. On September 11, 1964, Marina has asked for all such property except clothing and correspondence from Russia since 11/22/63. The items produced were thus: 4 books in Russian for the study of English, 1 Russian to Polish dictionary, 1 registration card at Richmond Freeman Memorial Clinic for Junie Oswald, 1 appointment slip for June Oswald at Freeman on 11/21/63, 1 appointment slip for Marina at the Dallas County Health Department on November 20th, 1 Russian name tag for June Oswald at birth, 1 photo of Mr. and Mrs. Alexander Zeiger, Eleanor Zeiger, 3 Oswalds, 1 photo of Eleanor Zeiger and Anatol Koladov in Minsk on May of 62. F. Marina received no correspondence from Russia after 11/22/63 other than that furnished by the FBI. So that's interesting, folks, that Marina didn't receive any letters from anybody in Russia after the assassination. It's pretty interesting. I wonder whether the Russian government or our government are the one that deep sixed all the correspondence from friends asking, what happened? What? Oh my God. Da, 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 what? Da, da, da. Who knows? On November 22nd, Oswald tells Captain Fritz that he ate a cheese sandwich and an apple that he brought as a lunch from Mrs. Payne's house. Oswald tells Frazier that he will not be riding to Irving with Frazier this afternoon, meaning Friday. They arrive at the depository at 7:55. According to Frazier, after leaving the car in the parking lot, Oswald carries the package in his right hand with the other end in his armpit, which is impossible to do with a 40-inch rifle, folks. Unless you're a gorilla. On November 22nd, 1963, Marina says that Oswald did not return to Irving on that day. Well, no shit. Yeah. He was arrested. After that. Okay, let's move to 8 a.m., November 22nd, 1963. On November the 23rd, Superintendent of the School Book Depository, Roy Truly, says that the depository itself has 19 employees, with Oswald being a temporary employee. The payroll record, which is also the attendance record, is inaccurate. Oswald is listed as Leslie Oswald, according to this document. Oswald is credited for 8 hours work every day, including 11/22/63. Frankie Kaiser, a school book employee who lives in a trailer court at 523 West Ledbetter Redbird Trailer Park, is absent from the school book depository on Thursday and Friday with a toothache. I got me a toothache. Frankie Kaiser, I got me a toothache. I'm not going to be able to make it in today. I'm quite sorry about that. At the time of the assassination, he is at the Baylor Dental School. And I believe he is the guy. Yeah, he finds some interesting things coming up here. So Frankie Kaiser, right? TSB records show that Kaiser is working 8 hours both of these days. So apparently the attendance record for the school book depository is really not that accurate. And what shit? We're just paying for 8 hours, just 8 hours every day. You know, here not. We're just paying for 8. Roy Truly says that Kaiser was not working either day. Kaiser is an order clerk and a truck driver. He also finds Oswald's jacket on the first floor, despite nobody else being able to find it, on November the 22nd, 1963. On November the 23rd, 1963. Or pretty much until December. Kaiser finds Oswald's jacket on the first floor and his clipboard on the 6th floor several days after the assassination. Kaiser finds the clipboard on December 2nd, 1963. And yada, yada, yada. These documents has pictures of the clipboard. So it seems that the DPD and hell, even co-workers there at the depository didn't really go over things too well or do a very good, thorough search about things. At 8 a.m., Jack Doherty, a TSBD employee who was on the 5th and or 6th floor at 12:30 p.m., sees Oswald enter the building without a package. According to these documents, Doherty started work at 7 a.m. on November 22nd, 1963. Oswald enters the schoolbook depository and places his blue jacket on the sill of the easternmost window on the north wall of the first floor domino room. Frankie Kaiser finds it here several days later. Same guy that found the clipboard. FBI lab examined jacket per DPD request on December 21st, 1963. Nothing regarding laundry marks. No textile fibers from rifle can be associated with this jacket. Hair from Oswald's head similar to hair found, but arm hair fragments don't have enough characteristics to match. Marina recognizes this jacket as Oswald's blue one on December 19th, 1963. At 8 a.m., Superintendent Roy Truly sees Oswald in the building. 8 a.m., Danny Arce sees Oswald on the first floor of the schoolbook depository. Between 8:05 and 9 a.m., James Jr. Jarman, Triple J, a checker on the first floor, sees Oswald on the first floor. Jarman is a colored employee. What color is he? Blue? Green? Pink? On November 24th, Jarman says he sees Lee Harvey Oswald on the first floor at 8:15 a.m. At 8:30 a.m., Wes Frazier sees Oswald working in the school book depository somewhere, according to this document. Between 9:30 and 10, Oswald asked James Jr. Jarman, Triple J, about the presidential motorcade route, according to these documents. Charles D. Gibbons, a Negro, lists no names. This man has been convicted under a narcotics charge in the past. Sheriff's Department number 37954. That's right. That's right. Charles Gibbons is listed as 37 years old, 6'3", gangly, beanpole, 165 pounds. Inventory of all listed. And there's a list here, but I don't know what it means. Number 1, Shelley, is on 8 lists. But then it says no list. Then it says 2 lists. Lovelady is on 8 lists. Of 2 lists, Doherty is on 4 lists. Of 1 list, Arce is on 8 lists. No list is Gibbons on 8 lists. I don't know what the hell this means, to be honest with you. So we'll just throw that baby out with the bathwater. At 10 a.m. Friday, November 22nd, 1963, at 10 a.m., Eddie Piper, a Negro, comes to work at his usual starting time at the school book depository. Piper sees Oswald on the first floor. Oswald describes Piper as a short little Negro, according to this document. Only time Piper sees LHO on November 22nd is at 10 a.m. I hate how racist all these people are. Look into this. I mean, it doesn't matter what ethnicity people are when it comes to describing their interactions with Lee Harvey Oswald or describing an event. But somehow, some people always seem to be putting it in their reports, and I don't get it, but okay. It's a sign of the times. At 10 a.m., Oswald is filling orders for books to be shipped, according to Life magazine, February 21st, 1964. School book depository employee Billy Lovelady, a whitey, says that Oswald asked him the location of certain books on the 6th floor. Now, at some point during the day, Lovelady sees Lee Harvey Oswald on the 6th floor. At 10:15 a.m., Harold Hank Norman, oh man, we almost had Triple H, a Negro, sees Oswald looking out of the Elm Street windows on the 1st floor. This is at 10:15 a.m. Harold Hank Norman sees Oswald looking out of the Elm Street windows on the 1st floor. That's weird. These windows have a decorative screen of pierced concrete panels, and the view is somewhat restricted. During the morning, Bonnie Ray Williams, say it with me, folks, a Negro, says that many employees are planning on watching the presidential motorcade from the 6th floor. But according to Bonnie Ray Williams, he was the only person that showed up for the birthday party on the 6th floor that day, as he apparently sat up there by his lonesome little self, ate his chicken bone sandwich, smoked him a Newport, and drank him a Dr. Pepper, and then realized that he was the only one at the party. So he went to go find everybody else. At 11 a.m., Friday, November 22nd, 1963, Wes Frazier sees Oswald on the 1st floor, according to these documents. At 11 a.m., Jack Doherty sees Oswald on the 6th floor getting books, according to these documents. At 11:30 a.m., Oswald eats lunch with a Negro, TSBD employee Eddie Piper, and Triple J James Jr. Jarman on the first floor. According to Oswald, cheese, bread, drink, and apples. Could it be Harold Norman instead of Eddie Piper? Question mark. Sylvia Marr. Page 225 of her book. On 11:22, Oswald tells Captain Fritz that he eats lunch with Junior. I eat lunch with Junior and some other employees on the second floor at the time of the assassination in the domino room, which was not on the second floor, as no Negroes were allowed on in the second floor lunchroom. So if he ate lunch with any of these guys, it would have had to be on the first floor. Oswald tells Captain Fritz that he eats his lunch in the lunchroom on the second floor, and possibly Junior and a short Negro employee walk through the lunchroom while Oswald is there. Oswald has a cheese sandwich and an apple lunch, which he brought from Mrs. Payne's residence. Oswald tells Captain Fritz, according to FBI agent Posty, that he eats his lunch on the first floor and is still there at 12:30 p.m. Recall that the schoolbook depository lunch period is from 12 noon until 12:45, according to all these documents. Now at 11:45, Triple J, James Jr. Jarman, a Negro, says that all the workers on the sixth floor, including himself, leave and are out on the street by noon, except for poor Bonnie Ray Williams, who's sitting up on the sixth floor all by his lonesome self. Between 11:30 and 12 noon, Triple J, James Jr. Jarman, a Negro, sees Oswald get out on the elevator on the first floor and go and get some boxes. At 11:45, Bill Shelley, a honky, does not see Oswald on the sixth floor. Shelley last sees LHO between 11:45 and 12 noon, according to Commission Document 5, page 371. Between 11:30 and 11:50 a.m., Billy Lovelady, Whitey, says that he, Bill Shelley, Whitey, Jack Doherty, Whitey, Danny Arce, Mexican, Charles Givens, Negro, leave the sixth floor to see the president. That, folks, is your floor laying crew. Between 11:40 and 11:45 a.m., Bonnie Ray Williams, that's right, Negro, says Oswald on the east, or sees Oswald on the east side of the sixth floor. Interesting. At 11:50 a.m., Bill Shelley, a Whitey, sees Oswald on the first floor near a telephone. At 11:50 a.m., Bill Lovelady, Whitey, says that he and Bonnie Ray go down on the west automatic elevator from the sixth floor, and Oswald is standing by the east non-automatic elevator on the sixth floor. At 11 something a.m., Bonnie Ray Williams, a Negro, says that he and Charles D. Givens, a Negro, TSBD employee who is a narcotics ex-convict. Now, when they say that like it's so horrible that he got caught smoking a joint somewhere, but he's a narcotics ex-convict. Go down from the sixth floor on the east non-automatic elevator. At 11:30 a.m., Charles Givens says he went downstairs to the bathroom. At 11:45 a.m., Charles Givens, a Negro, who is a narcotics ex-convict, yeah, that guy again, says that he, Bonnie Ray Williams, a Negro, Danny Arce, a Mexican, and Billy Lovelady, a honky, are on an elevator going down from the 6th floor when they pass Oswald on the 5th floor. Between 11:40 a.m. and 11:50 a.m., Danny Arce, a Chicano, and sees Oswald on the 5th floor near the elevators. At 11:55 a.m., Danny Arce, a Mexicano, says that he, Bonnie Ray Williams, a Negro, and Billy Lovelady, Cracker, race down on the east non-automatic elevator. Arce thinks that Oswald is on the 5th floor. Shortly before noon, Jack E. Doherty, a white boy, sees Oswald on the 6th floor, according to this document. At 11:55 a.m., Charles Gibbons, a Negro ex-convict, takes the east non-automatic elevator to the 6th floor to get his cigarettes. Gibbons sees Oswald on the 6th floor, walking northward toward the wall that the elevators adjoin, 30 to 40 feet north of the building's south wall along Elm Street, and 10 feet west of the building's east wall along Houston Street. And he had a clipboard in his hand. Let's see. According to Inspector Harry Holmes' report of 11/24/63, the Oswald interview at lunchtime, a colored fellow invited Oswald to go with him. Oswald said, "You go on down and just send the elevator back up, and I'll join you in a few minutes." According to Commission Document 5, page 329, on 11/22, Gibbons says the exchange regarding the elevators is at 11:30. Gibbons asks Oswald if he is going to lunch, and Oswald says no. Close the gate on the west elevator, or not now. Just send the elevator back up. When Gibbons returns to the 1st floor on the east non-automatic elevator, the west automatic elevator is not there, according to these documents, this FBI report, and this commission document. Bill Shelley says rolling reader boxes used to conceal Oswald's position were half a building width away from their correct position, according to this document. At 11:50 a.m., Bonnie Ray Williams, a Negro, says that he gets a Dr. Pepper and takes the east non-automatic elevator to the 6th floor, where he sits down by the 3rd set of 2 windows on the south building wall facing Elm Street. Williams ate some chicken and drinks the Dr. Pepper. Williams says he eats on the 6th and then goes down to the 5th floor at 12:05. As no one else comes up and it's so quiet, Williams puts the empty bottle down by a cart and goes down to the 5th floor, where he finds Harold Hank Norman, a Negro, and James Jr. Jarman, Triple J, also a Negro, down on the 5th floor. Check see Commission Exhibit 2003, Sylvia Marr, page 40. Williams goes to the 6th floor, stays 3 minutes, goes downstairs to the 5th, and hears 2 shots overhead. Check on the location of chicken bone fragments and lunch sacks on the boxes surrounding Oswald's hiding place, as it might indicate how close Williams actually comes to Oswald, if Oswald is in the corner at that time, according to Sylvia Marr, pages 39 and 40. Noon, November 22nd, 1963. Eddie Piper, a Negro, sees Oswald on the 1st floor. According to DPD statement on February 18th, 1964, Piper tells Oswald he is going to eat sandwich, and Oswald mumbles something that he is going up to eat. TAG 1, page 467, whatever that is. At noon, Charles Gibbons, a Negro, ex-convict, goes to visit a friend at the parking lot at Elman Record Streets. According to these documents, this is the 100 block of North Record. The friend, Edward Shields, says 601 Main. James Lacey is a friend. On November 21st, 1963, Jack Ruby visited the AAA bonding service on 106 North Record. Around noon, regarding Phil Hodges' bond, 607 Main, Best Cafe, 601 Commerce, And this is from the 1962 City Directory. A list of Dallas gamblers on April 2nd, 1963 includes number 17, Smith and Stovall, 106 South Record, bail bondsman. Okay. On January 8th, 1964, Jarman says he, a Negro, Norman, also a Negro, and Williams, also a Negro, eat lunch on the first floor around noon. And at 12:25, take the west elevator up to the 5th floor. They hear shots and go downtown, according to this document. On January 8th, 64, Norman says Jarman and he eat lunch on the first floor and then go outside. They go to the 5th on west elevator and Williams joins them. Between 12:10 p.m. and 12:25 p.m., Triple J, James Jr. Jarman, and Harold Hank Norman take the west elevator up to the 5th floor, according to these documents. They see the east automatic elevator at the 6th floor, according to this document, which would indicate Williams came down at 12:15 p.m. Bonnie Ray Williams, a Negro, says that James Jr. Jarman and Harold Hank Norman have already reached the 5th floor on the west automatic elevator when he comes down from the 6th floor on the east non-automatic elevator at 12:05, according to this document. So you can see, folks, we're all over the freaking place here. These three guys are all over the place when it comes to their timing about who went where, said what, did what, rode what elevator, went to which floor, we're up here, down there, out there. What in the Sam hell is going on around here? So you can see why somebody tried to write all this down and tried to collate the data, but ended up just convoluting the hell out of everything because there's just so many contradictory statements when it comes to the timing of where people were inside the school book depository around the time of the shooting that it's a freaking hot mess. Hot mess. All right. So at 12:10 p.m., there's two experiences. 6 years, telephone operators on a toll call line servicing 12,000 phones in Oxnard, California report. Number one, the voice of a middle-aged woman. At 10:07, 10:08 a.m. Pacific time, saying the president is going to die at 10:10. This is 12:10 Central Standard Time. This said so rapidly that it might have been read, the Supreme Court, there's going to be a fire in all the windows. The government is going up in flames. Named 12 courts in order of importance, starting with the Supreme Court to the probate court down to the juvenile court. Number 5, the president is going to die at 10:30, which is 12:30 Central Standard Time. And the courts are again mentioned. The government takes over everything, lock, stock, and barrel. One of the operators heard thermostat, rheostat, heostat, lasted 10 to 15 minutes. Operators switched to other calls. This caller was never connected to anyone else. At one time, when the operator offered help, the voice said, "Please get off the line. I'm using the phone." This was a party line in parentheses. According to Legacy of Doubt, page 234, says Bobby Kennedy, very curious about call and investigated Oxnard on May 28, 1968. Call from Oxnard, Camarillo area, 50 miles north of Los Angeles. All right, back to here. At 12:10 p.m., School Book Depository President Jack Cason leaves the building to go home. 12:15 p.m., Mrs. R.E. Carolyn Arnold tells the FBI on November 26th that Oswald was in the hallway between the front door and the double doors a few minutes before 12:15, according to these documents. On 11:22, Jack Doherty says that he works on the 6th floor until noon, then goes back to the 1st floor to eat his lunch. And at 12:45 p.m., Doherty goes back to work and is on the 5th floor getting some stock when he hears a shot, according to these documents, but doesn't see the three Negroes. They're also on the 5th floor at this time. Nor do they see Jack Doherty. 12:15. LHO is seen on the 5th floor, according to this document and Sergeant Gerald Hill. At 12-something p.m., Jack Doherty, Whitey, goes back to work on the 6th floor. This indicates that Doherty calls the West automatic elevator down from the 5th floor and returns on it to the 6th floor. 12:15 to 12:20. Danny Arce, Mexican, assists an old man with kidney trouble to the men's room on the west side of the 2nd floor of the schoolbook depository. He even holds the man's penis while he urinates. I'm joking about that. Sees him leave in a black car. Arce describes on November 22nd, 1963, this man as a real old man in an old brown suit and a Western-type hat. Arce sees him leave the schoolbook depository and drive off in an old black Buick. Old man is in schoolbook depository after lunch, but not carrying anything in hands. Texas Schoolbook Depository Superintendent Truly says that the normal lunch period is from 12 to 12:45. However, as Doherty comes an hour earlier than the other employees in the morning, perhaps his lunch period might be different. That's a pretty good point. I never thought about that before. That when Doherty talks about taking his lunch, it happened at a different time than everybody else because he got there earlier. Jack E. Doherty, Cracker, takes the West automatic elevator on the 6th floor and goes to the 5th floor, where he is about 10 feet from the elevator when he hears something that he thinks A is a backfire, B is a shot overhead, according to Commission Document 206, page 11, and these other documents. A white male, 28, sallow complexion, foreign appearance, very prominent nose, big old honker, goes to Anderson Studios, Cedar Springs and Harwood, and asks to make a long-distance collect call to Indiana. Leaves without completing the call, very nervous, just as reports of the shooting come in. Commission Document 5, page 439, relevance W.D. Sanders. And Geneva Hine, the only employee in the schoolbook depository 2nd floor office, says that the power went off and phones went dead in the schoolbook depository as the pilot car, the motorcade, approached the schoolbook depository, according to, you guessed it, these documents. And then accompanying this is a very interesting chart. Now, this is where it would behoove me to be on video right now so I could show you these documents because they're really too complicated to try to convey. But basically, according to the testimony of Bonnie Ray Williams, Charles Givens, Danny Arce, Bonnie Ray Williams, Billy Lovelady, Jack Doherty, Triple J, Harold and Hank, they tried to place a visual aid here of a virtual building, and floor by floor and elevator by elevator, where people were located at certain times, at least at all of the allegations. And it is very interesting. It's a clusterfuck, really, is what it is, to be honest with you folks. It's just a giant cluster. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what it all means, but you can see just by this small snapshot in time, when it comes to eyewitness testimony and verbal allegations, just how off things can be, just how much people's memories can differ, just how far the facts of something can be misconstrued. It's a total mess, which makes trying to figure all this out all the more difficult. And, sometimes it is what it is. And that's why we're still here all these years later, trying to figure this all out. But as they say, it keeps us in a job, right? Anyway, that's it for this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, make sure, please head to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell for the Lone Gunman Podcast channel. You won't want to miss stuff. On the socials, at the Lone Gunman 7. You can find me anywhere good podcasts are heard. And make sure you are also listening to Quick Hits, a JFK News and Notes podcast I do with my buddy Doug. That's it for me. That's it for this week. That's it for episode 256er. Enjoy the sweet sounds of Shepherd of Fire and Conspiracy. Listen to the words, people. Until next time, pub. Peace.
Blood was on his head. Mrs. Kennedy cried, "Oh no!" And